Sir from 17 once again. This is Star Wars Battlefront 2. I'm playing Galactic Assault. We're on the map Endor, and I'm using Assault, which you might be wondering, Chris, why aren't you using Officer? You're an Officer guy, right? I was at the toilet when this match started, and Battlefront does this interesting thing where it picks Assault by default. It doesn't pick the one that you use the most. It doesn't have like a preferential memory kind of system. It just mandates everybody to Assault. And there are times when you'll join games where it'll put you as Assault before you get a chance to pick a class. It's just like, you're immediately Assault, and it doesn't make any sense, and it's one of those changes I would love to see the game get, because I think it's just much more healthier for it. So, I'm using a long-range gun in a close-quarters gunfight, and then I end up eating an improved thermal detonator, which is not a problem, because now I can come back as the guy that I play when I do Endor, which is, of course, the Officer. Officer's the best class in the game. It's my favourite class in the game. And it's the class I have the most fun with because its guns are all really good and it has a lot of tools that enable you to outplay people. And there's not many classes that have that. There are certain features that can help you do such as beating a 1v1 and a 2v1 and things of that nature, but there ain't nothing like what the Officer has. It's just far too powerful in almost every situation, and when you combine it with awareness and when you combine it with, you know, understanding of the game, you can have a lot of success with this class. And I'm going to have a lot of success on this video because this is going to be a no-hero gameplay. And of course, it's not by choice. I love heroes. Heroes are one of the most fun parts of Galactic Assault. If it wasn't for the heroes, I probably wouldn't play this mode. But I'm not going to be able to get them because they're taken by people who keep them for a long time. One of them is Rey, I believe. And what this is going to showcase, hopefully, is that you don't necessarily need to be a hero to do well in this game, or to do well in the team, or to help, or to win, or to... Whatever you value in Battlefront can be achieved in various means, because they give you so many capable tools. And this wasn't a gameplay that really stood out to me as anything interesting, until I looked back at it and noticed that I hung with heroes on a map that isn't really suited to my playstyle. So that's one of the reasons why I liked it a lot, and that's why I'm sharing it. Because for me, the middle stage of Endor is not my cup of tea. It's something I'm actually going to be speaking about because somebody mentioned it in a comment that I want to talk a little bit about, which is like finding traffic and the likes. The first phase of Endor I'm okay with, but you'll notice I immediately went into the middle area to get into the crazy gunfight, because I know where the enemies are going to be, I know I'm going to be outnumbered, I know I'm going to go into that room, I'm going to disrupt, and I'm going to do my best to cause chaos and hopefully have some success. In that area, I am king because I understand what I'm doing. However, when it gets to the larger areas, like the second phase, it's not really where I shine, because as much as there are games when I have great traffic and I find all the enemy teams and I find the spawns and I'm sticking in there and doing well and catching people off guard, I have a bunch of games where I'm not. And second phase Endor is one of those phases. First phase, final phase, is where I shine because it's those choke points, it's being able to be aggressive and getting stuck in and just embracing the chaos and enjoying it. As we have a Rey on our right here who's hopefully going to help me out here with the wall hacks, which, if you're wondering why you can see people silhouetted through the wall, that's because we have Rey. She gives us essentially team cheats. It's really preposterous, and they've not tweaked it, and they probably never will. But there's a guy trying to play the objective, and I kill him. I feel sorry for that guy, because at least he's playing the objective, but I can't let them do it, right? I want to win. And then it leads us to the conversation that I want to have for this video. So, down in the bottom left-hand corner of this game, you will notice that there is a map. Obvious, right? I wish it was in the top left, because I don't naturally look to the bottom left. But that map is one of the most important tools in your arsenal to do well in this game. And you'll notice right now we have a conical, expanding vector of red in the direction just in front of me, and then I get picked off by a sniper there. Which, that was a headshot, so as much as I would normally get annoyed at being shot by that, he hit me in the face, so you've got to give him some credit, right? And I think I'm being shot by an ATST right here, which is quite interesting. But on the map, you'll notice that there is a plethora of blue. The blue is, of course, my team. The dots are your people, the circles are your heroes. I really wish vehicles showed up on the map. I think that would be a much better design perspective, so you never get snuck up on by a tank as a hero, because that's fucking annoying, but it does happen. You wouldn't think it would, right, if you're wearing a headset, but trust me guys, it certainly does. To my left you'll see that there's also another shape, which I believe is the objective. And right now on the map you'll see that there's a bunch of those red vectors showing you the direction where gunfire is coming from. A couple of people have voiced their, not necessarily lack of understanding, but difficulty in reading the map. And I completely understand what they mean, because it's not the most clear, and there's also a few bugs that make it more difficult than it needs to be. But finding traffic in this game is both understanding your map and understanding the spawns and understanding where people like to go. I know on this push of Endor that on this top ridge here just in front of me, when we get to the line that shows you the spawn, that's where they're going to come from, on that side and then on the adjacent side. Whichever side you're on, you need to be aware of this line, because if you're not, you'll get people spawning behind you, or you'll get people flanking around like those guys did just then. I got lucky, I managed to clean them up. But fundamentally, understanding where the enemy comes from is the first important step to taking advantage of that and beating it. And once you get to that point where you understand where they're going to come from, the map becomes very important now. So if you look in the bottom left, you'll notice that there is a boundary here that has dotted grey area. That implies that that is out of bounds / their spawn. We know it's not their spawn because I can keep moving forward, so that just means that that's the end of the map. If you go into those zones, it will affect your screen like it does in all DICE games, and it does this to stop you from essentially spawn trapping and getting in the spawn and causing havoc. Here's an ATSD, can we hit it in the back? We can, that's a critical spot. It will die very quickly like this, and hopefully we can get rid of it. There we go. Go team. And when you get to that threshold, it's telling you that you are now in the thick of it and you can be spawned on, spawned behind, spawned all around. So alas, that's where your map comes from. Up there is a rocket trooper. Do you see on the map how because he's firing you can see the redness? Do you see that central part of my map is all red now? That means somebody is bang on top of me. I am 100% on top of another player. They could be below me, they could be above me, but there is a human on the enemy team who is near me at that moment, and that's why I'm playing like this. Why I'm rolling and using my buff is because the map is telling me there's a dude on us, but I can't see him, and it turns out he's in the cave beneath me. So the map is not infallible, but it still tells you where your threat assessment is. And right now I'm getting those red effects telling me there's something behind me. It's saying that there's something to my right now, and it's showing you both distance of threat and direction of threat. And that is what you need to be keeping an eye on at all moments. And if you're close enough with your scanner to the person who is firing, they'll come up on the map as a red dot, and that's when things get easy. But if you come from Call of Duty, or from these games where you get, you know, these UAVs and you can see everything, and it's really, really simple, this map is not going to be the best for you. This radar is not the same kind of tool. It's more of it's a very vague pointer in the direction of damage. And of course when you get shot, that's another great piece of information, because it tells you where it comes from. It can help you out. I've still not forgotten there's a guy over in the corner, a heavy sat by a turret, so I think I'm going to go for him now. But did you notice how when his turret fired, it didn't trigger the map, I don't think? And I'm getting stuck on the geometry because this is not my favourite part of the map. So I don't know what this guy's doing, but he's up on this little ridge. There's his turret locking onto me because there's no vehicles. And I throw up the flash. It still hasn't gone red. I get the hit markers. There, it went red then. For whatever he did just then, gave him away. And then I can come in and kill him, and I don't know what that player's doing, but he's not helping his team. He's just kind of getting his little spot. Maybe he was shooting at that specialist just over there. I'm not entirely certain. But if you played Titanfall, the map and the radar in that game is very similar to this game, so you will definitely have an advantage coming into Battlefront because it's the same principle. When enemies are close to you, it puts like a red circle over you, and then it gives you directional damage input to tell you where the action is happening. And it's a cool system because it does it at really long ranges, so you can always kind of have an idea where the gunfights are. The problem is, people don't use the radar. That's the biggest problem. And this is not towards the guys who were asking, you know, who were saying that they have trouble using it. There's nothing wrong with having trouble using a tool, because you can always get better. You can always practice, you can always understand it, you can always change it. The problem is when you don't know you have a problem, and you don't try and change it, and you don't try and work on it. Like just then, did you see it flicker on the radar? Something behind me? I immediately turn around, because for whatever reason, in this gameplay, in this moment, I'm really attuned to my radar, because I'm looking at it a lot. And this is when you get really good at this game, or when you have really good matches, because you're aware of your surroundings, you're aware where the threats are, and you almost never get snuck up on. It can still happen, even though it really shouldn't, but that's just down, I think, to the fact that you can't customize the audio. How many times do you get flanked by a Vanguard guy and you can't hear that like that noise that the Vanguard makes when he runs with it? You can't hear his footsteps running. You can't hear him say, you know, going in close, or whatever they say when they pull the Vanguard out. You should be able to hear these things, but because this is an active battlefield and because everything is kicking off and it's going crazy and every so often John Williams is there in the background whittling his wand and shit, you can't, and it gets by you. So your map is your best friend for that stuff, as I stand next to this Finn here, who's, I hope he's doing his job. I suppose I should probably talk about that as well, but once again guys, pay attention to the radar in this gameplay to give you an idea of what's happening on the battlefield when I can't see it. And that's what it is. The radar is your eyes when you cannot see. It's that important. And I see so many people not using it. And you can tell when people aren't using it because you sneak up on them with heroes. You get behind them and kill 3 or 4 or 5 of them and no one turns around because nobody's noticing. And the player base on Battlefront 2 is the most casual player base I've ever come across in a video game. But there's no excuse, you know? If you want to do well in this game, if you want to do better, if you want to improve, whatever your goals are, doesn't matter how big they are, how small they are, how modest they are, using your radar will help you achieve them. But let's do the obligatory hero talk, as Finn's shooting up in the sky, and I'm not sure why. Maybe a boss got on the roof or something, or a Boba Fett, but I didn't see it on the map, did you? I didn't indeed. We're doing really well against this team. It's just because our team, I think, is a little bit better than theirs. We'll have to look at the end to see what the real spread was. So I throw a grenade over there. The reason I did that, guys, is because that's a spawn point. And I know it's a spawn point, so I popped it over there. You'll notice I didn't detonate it immediately. That guy's using a Vanguard, by the way. You can tell how fast he is. I don't know if you could hear the like little train track noise it makes when he starts running. This is always dangerous, by the way. Somebody killed him, though, just then, thankfully. Oh, it seems like a few of their team has left as well. That's not good. Doesn't matter, though. If you have a clever team and you've got some heroes out, you can hold this next area. All you need is a Bosk and a Palpatine on the ground and a Phasma on the roof. If you can get Phasma on that balcony, you can put her droid in front of the one entrance to the top floor, and then they can't get through it, because every time they open the door from their spawn, it shocks them, and then you and your team just shoot them all. I've done it many times. And another thing I found out the other day here that's incredibly powerful: if you have officers that have the recharge speed up star card on and you're Bosk, you can put gas and mines on every entrance to the ground floor, and then whenever anybody pushes it or gets aggressive with Wookiees and the like, you can use your noob tubes and your predator stuff to just storm them and kill them. I was playing the other day, and I have never ever put the kind of carnage that I put down on that doorway as I did in that game, because there was more than one officer on my team close to me giving me faster recharge, and it was so amazing. It was fantastic. I'm probably going to share that as a clip on its own, because the moment I lose my footing and I get pushed back, we lose the objective. And it just goes to show how powerful those support cards can be, and how powerful Boss can be with the right kind of support. That's a Vanguard as well. Very scary times when people do that. And thankfully he missed. But watch, this is Iden as well. This is a hero that is very strong but very weak. And it's really sad to see. That was not a good Iden play. That was the player's fault that she died then, because you should never charge a Wookiee with anybody, really. Like, the only times you charge a Wookiee is when you know you can win and you understand the game. And doing that as Iden, you're not going to have any success unless you stun it with the droid. And I reckon that that's the type of player who picks her and doesn't really understand her and probably doesn't know what the droid does. So that was really foolish of him. But we've got a Yoda pushing forward, kicking ass. But another reason why I didn't get a hero this game, it seems, is because I wasn't dying. I have 20,000 battle points right now and Yoda life. That's ridiculous, and we just won. So it might not necessarily been that they were hogging heroes. It was a case of that we had a really good Rey. And look, I kept up with Rey, and Rey's a automatic first place if you keep her alive because she's ridiculously powerful for point building. But it was the fact that I stayed alive too that I didn't manage to get one. But our team did fantastic then. The enemy team unfortunately buckled under pressure, but what are you going to do? We had wall hacks, we had capable players. It was a fun match for us. Thank you very much for watching. Keep checking that radar, get better with it. You'll do better every time, trust me guys, it works. You take care now.